There's a lot that goes into every episode that we produce here at Dirt Trax TV, and sometimes when we're trying to pump out more and more content and cool stuff for you to watch, we overlook some of the intricate details and the nitty-gritty stuff that really is Dirt Trax TV. And sometimes it's not just the details, but it's the people behind the scenes. And for this episode, I want to let Graham tell a bit more of the story. Because truth be told, the Mud Racer was all his idea. And so it really should be him who has the last word.
There's a lot of stuff that happened during the last mud race that happened behind the scenes, and a lot of things that a lot of people didn't get to see. And one of them is the amount of hours that it took to get this bike to where it was and being competitive.
We just went and got his haircut and his makeup done.
You got hair and makeup.
Yeah. That's what he was just saying.
That's what I'm getting sick with.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Hi, Mr. Cameraman.
Tinner's Performance has been around for about, I suppose, 5 or 6 years now. A lot of it is just family, right? We started it, just me and Luke, like 4 or 5 years ago for Give It a Go.
Luke is Steve's business partner. They work together, and Luke's the muscle, basically. He's more of like the scientist.
What started me into mud racing is because I had 2 young kids, and we couldn't trail ride with the kids, but we could take them racing. The engines just started, to be honest, me having a Kawasaki and trying to keep up with Can-Ams. So I know that's ironically how it started, because the Can-Ams were on top, and they still are. So building the bigger engines, more and more stuff come out. Mr. RPM, stuff was more accessible. So as soon as something becomes more accessible, people start using that. The R&D was there, the cams, the intakes, throttle bodies, board throttle bodies, so then it just amplified. People want to go faster. People always want to go faster. Mr. RPM stuff's never let me down. Is there other stuff that you could argue that it's better out there? Maybe. All I can say is he's made me win. He's made me build fast bikes. I'll tell you right now, it works. He's definitely got a proper setup there. You've got the 860, which is a great product, a great build, got nothing but a good solid bike. It's kind of more geared, I believe, to trail riders. So if somebody who'd want a fresh top end build, they put the 860 in, you get a little bit more CC out of it, where you guys were into building a mud bike. So here in Ontario, we have classes. The 860, it kind of put you out of that 850 bracket, so it put you at the low end of the CC scale. To race against a 976 or the 1000cc bikes with an 860, it probably wasn't the best way to go, because that's your area. I felt for you guys, you can go, you can show up, you can race the 800 class, the 976 class, in the open class. You can upclass in all the classes. And then it gives you a lot more pit time, a lot more fun. In my opinion, you'd be a lot more competitive with the 840. Yeah, the thing was, you guys showed up with the 860 with a set of Mavegs on a Gen 1, right? So we've obviously got a 5mm oversized valve in there that doesn't fit on an 840 piston. So the Maveg's flow better, there's no denying that. So I wanted to keep the 840 with the eye compression, but I also wanted to make it with the Maveds. So what I ended up doing is getting a little bit creative with the relief. So used an 840 piston, messed around with the deck eye a little bit, and we basically made everything work. Everything's got a match better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. People say you don't need porter heads. They flow just as much. You're not going to get more out of it. Well, there's throttle response. There's a lot of other things that's going on. We've ported heads for years, and it's made power. Open up the heads, then we have to obviously match the intake. Taking that much material out the intake is quite the task, but everything has to match. There's no way of getting around it. And once we did the Mav heads, opened it up with the intake, with the 840, so put the 840 kit in, it really surprised us. Because once I had it on the dyno showed that it made a serious amount more power than other 840s I've built before.
Like it's building so much faster, and I'm used to like snowmobiles with 170, 200 horse, and I mean, they hit like a cat on a screen door. But this is the first ATV that I've ever got off of and thought, all right, we're definitely reaching the limit of how much horsepower we can use.
By not just the Mavette, it's all about the porting to the intake, to the throttle body. Everything has to work together. I can't stress that enough. That's where a lot of people don't get, along with how much air it's taking in, the airbox, the whole 9 yards. But that's why it makes more power. Periodically, the fastest 840 I've built.
I've heard it said many times over the years that an engine is just an air pump, and the more you get in, the more you're going to get out. Well, Steve, he got a whole lot more in, and therefore, way more out.
You know, you get more air in, that means you can mix it with more fuel. The more fuel you put in there, the more power you make. The more you compress that fuel, the even more power you make. So, you know, it's all about moving PSI. I mean, I think we were at somewhere in the region of 200 PSI a cylinder on your bike. It's a lot, and it's pumping good. And I was really impressed with it. It's made up 130 cc's. It's made more power than 976s. There are built 976s with the same cans, the same intakes, and it's actually made more power. So it's pretty impressive.
When I came up against Steve at the end, one of the first races that we had, because we had the fastest bike going into it, and we did, AJ actually had the fastest qualifying time all day. I knew we had a really good chance of beating him, but unfortunately, there's a couple mistakes I made, and it had nothing to do with the bike. So I decided not to run in the slow lane like everybody else was all day. I decided to cheat it a little bit, move more into the middle. But unfortunately, I got too much traction, and I got into an uncomfortable situation, and the bike just seemed like it wanted to go sky high. The issue was I had to let off, and letting off was half a second. I knew I was done. Racing's all about a mental game. So what I should have done was I actually should have moved closer to him. Could get him to let off a little bit. I think that would have been a better game. The second round, unfortunately, I made another mistake. This next situation, I was like, okay, I got the faster lane now. Get on this, I have to be on the light. So unfortunately, I engaged the clutch at the wrong moment. And watching the replays now, I just shake my head. He just had the better jump, and once you engage that belt, it's just not the same. Just didn't have the power that I had all day, and we were the better bike. Unfortunately, it was my race to lose. And Steve and Luke did an amazing job getting as much as they could out of this bike, and it showed. It was super fast. And we hope to do some races this year and put her to the test again.
Okay, so I said I'd let Graham have the last word, but truth be told, I'm not done racing this thing yet. I mean, last year we got crushed at Minden because of motor issues, and that's where Steve Turner came up and first offered to help us. This year, we're gonna go back to Minden, and we wanna see you come out and join us there. I mean, I would love to see a whole group of people come out and run their bikes. Sure, run against us if you want, but run against yourself and your buddies. It's gonna be a great time. I'm super excited, even after watching the last few minutes of this episode. It just gets me fired up, and I wanna get back out there. I wanna squeeze the throttle. I wanna throw some mud, throw some dirt, and have a good time. And I hope to see you not just in Minden, but in Powassan also, because we're coming back and we're going for a victory. Make sure you click to subscribe for even more great content on our YouTube channel. Travel stories, test rides, modifications, you name it, we've got it.